and Governor Pataki. We, Peers Influence Peers, are here today representing students from all over New York State, and we brought with us students from the Phoenix Academy, Mayapack High School, and Walter Pattis High School, and we would just like to ask you a few questions concerning drug and alcohol abuse.
Sure, I'd be delighted to. I've talked with Peers Influence Peers in the past. It's a wonderful group, and I'm happy to answer.
Do you realize that more students will die of substance abuse than will get their master's or doctoral degrees, and what does that say to you?
It's a real tragedy. We have extremely talented and motivated young people in this state, and we need to be able to count on those young people to be able to compete with the rest of the world for jobs and for better schools, improvement to our environment. And clearly there's something wrong with the statistics that you just cited. There is a problem, and it's a problem that we at the state level have to do everything we can to try to solve, but it has to also come from the community, it has to come from the families, and it has to come from peers influencing peers. So it's something that just cries out for our efforts and all of our efforts, and I'm just very grateful for all of you being involved in this program aimed at combating drug abuse.
Governor, as a parent, what advice would you give your daughter who attended a party, let's say, where drugs and alcohol were present?
Well, I have 4 kids, and 2 of them are old enough now that they're at the age where too often that type of thing happens. And I stress to them, and Libby, my wife, stresses to them that peer pressure should be positive peer pressure and not negative peer pressure, to stand up for their own values, to have enough confidence in themselves to say no, and to leave the party, to call me, to call my wife, to call a friend and say, this is not for me, I shouldn't be here. And I'm just very pleased that there are so many young people who share those views and who take that type of action.
Governor Pataki, what can adults, particularly parents, do to encourage their children to avoid drug abuse?
I think it's very important to start as a role model, to show that you respect that drugs are dangerous, whether it's hard drugs or cigarettes or alcohol, to play that positive role model, and then to help educate our kids and the community's kids that they have tremendous opportunities. They can have a very bright future. This is a wonderful world, but not if you use drugs. It shortchanges you. It takes away a person's future. It takes away their independence and dignity, and we just have to make sure that as a parent and as a member of a community that we stress how much we love our children and how much importance we place on their staying off drugs.
Thank you.
Governor Pataki, what effect do you think television and movies has in creating an atmosphere where drugs and alcohol, you know, is more of like the thing to do for adolescents?
Television or the movies can work both ways. We see positive things. We see positive things like Schindler's List that allows us to recall the Holocaust and learn from it. We see positive things like the Partnership for a Drug-Free America that ran infomercials that stressed how important it was for our young people to stay off drugs. But it also, too often, can glamorize or make drug use look like the in or attractive thing to do without pointing out that ultimately it is a dumb thing, it is a destructive thing, and it is a path that leads to sorrow and too often death. So what we have to do is have parents who monitor what their children watch, older brothers and sisters who watch out for their younger brothers and sisters, so that we can take advantage of the positive opportunities that television and the movies provide, and yet steer our children away from the negative images that too often are portrayed.
Governor, in reference to the laws for marijuana use in California and Arizona, how do you feel about similar legislations being proposed in New York?
I think it is a bad idea. I think we have to send a clear and consistent message that these drugs are damaging and harmful. To all of a sudden say that, well, under certain circumstances, a drug like marijuana might be okay, I think is utterly wrong. It's been shown that marijuana is an entryway drug, that a very large percentage of those who try it go on to try worse drugs. And I think we have to be clear. I think we have to be consistent. It's illegal. It should continue to be illegal, and we have to discourage its use in every way possible.
As governor, what can you do in the fight against drug abuse with teens?
Well, I think there are a number of things. First of all, I can be outspoken and work with groups like Peers Influence Peers to make sure that we send the message out. Second, we have to make sure that we have the educational priorities of our school system straight so that our schools are teaching our children how bad drug abuse is. We have to support those institutions that help those who do run astray, because we can't simply say that you've made a mistake and we're going to make you live with that mistake. We have to try to work together to allow people to overcome those mistakes and to do more in the future. And of course, I'll give you a scoop for your show. My wife Libby has been very active in a number of causes, and over the course of the next few months you're going to see her very active crossing this state, taking the message that we love our children, we don't want them using illegal drugs.
You have heard criticism of programs like the DARE program, and do you think that those kind of programs are ineffective?
Oh, I think programs can be very effective, but they need community support. And you think about the MAD program, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I think it's been enormously helpful in raising issues that have changed people's lives and changed laws in Albany. And I think that the DARE program can be positive, but certainly it's not in and of itself the solution. You need strong communities, you need solid schools, and you need families that care about each other and care about their children and send the right message to those children.
Do you feel that what we're doing, kids talking to kids, is an effective way to combat this tragic problem?
I think it's not just an effective way, I think it's the most effective way, because parents are always talking to their children. But when the peer pressure, when the friends in school or in the neighborhood keep reiterating that strong message that drug abuse is stupid and wrong and illegal, I think it has a dramatic impact. And that's why I'm just very grateful for all of you for being involved in this program and helping to get that message out there.
Do you have any closing statements for the teens of New York?
If I could just say that we have wonderful teenagers in this state. They have enormous talent, and we just love them dearly, and they are our future. When we talk about changing the state and creating jobs and improving the schools and cleaning the air and preserving open space and recreational and environmental opportunities, it's not so much for us, but for the next generation. And I've got two teenagers, and I'm sure I feel like every parent how much we love them, and we want them to be able to work with their peers and have that positive message that there's limitless opportunity and drugs takes away that opportunity. And working together like this, I'm sure we can make this wonderful state even better for you and someday for your children.
Thank you very much for your time. It was great having you here.